You're listening to TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
We're your hosts. I'm Kate.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is our show, where we talk about all things Formula One.
And a lot of things that are not Formula One, too.
Because why the heck not?
This is your formal invitation to a weekly hangout with your F1 BFFs, where we'll talk on-track action, off-track gossip, and throw in some hot pop culture topics.
It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned F1 fan, a curious newbie, or literally just think the drivers are hot. Because they are. There's a little something in this podcast for everyone.
Speaking of which, did you hear what happened this week?
No, tell me about it.
It's lights out and away we go, baby. Hey,
cool.
We're back together.
We're back.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
Yes, and we can do this while we record our... Don't let go, Jack.
You dropped my fucking hand.
We're just gonna hold hands while we do this because the two of us have been through the ringer the past couple weeks, and friendship is the glue.
Friendship is so important.
Friendship is so important. and we're here today celebrating friendship and perseverance and Lewis Hamilton winning the British Grand Prix.
Talk about perseverance.
How about friendship? Him and Bono on the podium together.
And, you know, if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you know that Kate and I have kind of had our ups and downs with Lewis.
We have.
Of the pod.
Yeah.
We didn't like him for a while, and I think it's similar vibes with we came into it in a Lewis Hamilton dominant era.
Yes.
Which, if anyone has recently got into it, you know, you're probably a Max hater because you're like, fuck that guy. He always wins.
Yeah. I want an underdog. I want to root for the underdog. You never want to root for the overdog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so it's fucking boring if you just come in, you root for the winner.
Yeah, Lewis was the overdog when we were coming into the sport. And so we always talk about this. It's kind of easy for me to get back to that place, like mentally. I'm like, I remember how annoyed I was with him all the time. Because he'd always be like, oh, my tires are gone. And then he would win. And like, he was just complaining to complain. I'm like, was he gaslighting all of us? We don't really know. But in recent years, since he hasn't won since 2021. That's crazy.
900 and something days.
That's insane. I know they said 900 something days, and I was like, that's like over 3 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Math.
Famously good at it.
Math. So it's kind of nuts, but today's
a new day. Today's a new dawn.
We are recording this on Sunday, clearly.
Yeah.
So, surprise. It's Sunday. Sorry, I have to.
It's okay. She dropped my hand. You saw it first. I wasn't going to be the first one to do it. So someone had to. She would have been so mad at me if I was the one to pull away first. So I let her handle that.
We're going to be so sweaty. Our hands were going to be so clammy if we kept that up. Anyways, we love Lewis now. And Lewis won today. And it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Gorgeous day. We're so happy we cried.
We did cry.
We cheered. We sweat.
We're still sweating.
Our heart rates were through the roof.
Yeah, we have a video of us for the last like 5 laps, and it was pretty crazy. It was you know how there's all those memes always about like me when I text LMAO, and someone was just that was kind of us being like we were jumping for joy. We were just sitting on the couch. We were like,
no, it really was.
I wanted to be more enthusiastically like jumping around. But I was sweating, so I couldn't.
Yeah, it was too. I mean, internally, we're screaming.
Yes, of course.
When I text you, I'm screaming. I'm not actually screaming.
I wish you were.
It's a figure of speech. Anyway.
It's like when Haley says pissing.
Yeah.
I'm pissing. Every single time I'm like, I love to imagine that she's just peeing her pants right now. Such a good mental image. Anyways, we're here. And surprise, we're together. This is our podcast, dude. Do we ever say that? I don't know. We've done this 15 times. I don't know if we've said it yet. But Nicole and I literally just now put the studio together. It's a work in progress. Please don't judge us on what it looks like at the moment. But let's give a little tour.
Yeah.
Shall we? We have our soundproofing panels. Don't look at them too hard. We have a desk here. This is temporary. This is something that I just had. I just had it laying around. This whole thing. This whole thing. I just had it laying around. So we've got our Monaco poster here that husband Nick graciously gave to me, because it did not fit in his office. We've got some Ferrari Ray-Bans that we were gifted. We've got some beautiful prints from a community member. We can, share the links to these because they're
They're
just so stunning. And the
stunning.
fact that she sent us Monaco 2024, special for me. We do have some
Ferrari
Ferrari
Trento.
Trento Las Vegas edition wine, and a McLaren Lego that Nick and I put together one night when we were really, really bored. Plus some other fun things down on these shelves. So maybe someday you'll see more of them once we actually figure out how to set the studio up. But for today, we've got our fun new microphones. We bought them because they were pink. We didn't really do a lot of research into these, but
Par for the course.
they seem fine
Yeah.
at the moment, and they light up. Yep, very fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They weren't before.
I like it.
Mine was doing some funky things, so
Okay.
I'm glad that mine
We're back
kinda
on
figured it
track.
out. Yeah. Yeah, and we got some new lighting, so if you're wondering,
Why
wow,
we look so beautiful.
wow, they look kinda greasy because we got really good lighting,
And it's hot down here.
and it's hot in the studio today.
So
So that's where we are at.
I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Portland. I
Oh
think
my
everyone wants to hear about
gosh! Oh
Portland.
my gosh, please, please tell me about Portland. We've talked about it, but we
Yeah.
haven't talked about it here because
No.
we haven't recorded together
Yeah.
in weeks.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Truly weeks.
Really weeks.
So for everyone listening, in case you live under a rock, I
Who are you people?
I took a trip out west and I went to Portland for the Formula E Prix. And it was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed Formula E as a whole. I
Okay.
think
I mean, I love to hear that.
I love how accessible the sport is.
Yeah.
Tickets for like pit lane walks and like driver meet and greets and stuff are wicked cheap. I mean, they're not wicked cheap, but like comparatively to F1, like it's way more affordable.
Yeah.
Um, and two, like they had a lot of really fun things going on at the
Mhm.
track. They had some concerts.
Ooh, what'd you see?
And so it was Jaden J D.
JXD
Yep. Yeah.
JXDN?
JDXN? JXD, yeah.
Yeah.
However you spell it.
Something like that.
And then there was this other girl whose name was Natalie, I think, and I knew one of her songs, like, I didn't recognize her name, but as I was walking through the track, I was like, "Oh, I do know this song."
Okay.
So I was like, "Okay, they're hip with the
Fun.
kids.
They're hip.
They're hip with the Gen Z kids."
Yeah.
Um and I mean, personally too, as creators, like there were a bunch of us there and media was super lax. Like we got to talk to anyone that we wanted to.
Mhm.
We did the grid walks both days. We were in the garages and I was just like so um I had PTSD, not PTSD, but from when we were in with Alpha and they were like, you can't take any photos. Like, don't even
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
taking your phone out. With the Formula E cars, they were like, as long as the back of the car isn't open because all of the other components are the same. So as long as like the
Mm.
engine is not like visible in the photos, then you can post and take photos of whatever you wanted. So I was in the garage for one of the qualifyings with DS Penske.
And they got
And
full, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
fun. That must have been, pun intended, electric.
No, truly was electric.
That's so fun.
Everyone in the garage was like, "You have to come back for the race. You're the good luck charm." And I said, "Okay, I'll try."
Did you?
No, we were on Sunday.
Feels like you don't deserve that.
Well,
Actually,
okay,
I won't be there.
to be fair, on Sunday, all of us who went for like as content creators, we were all in the like Emotion Club, which is basically like the Paddock Club of Formula
Okay.
E. And it was
Emotion Club.
yeah, it
Big
was
inside out energy.
yeah. We were like, "Okay, let's go talk about our emotions," and there feels like in the Inside Out headquarters. But the food was really good, and the
Mm.
seats were really comfy, and it had really great view of the track, and I was like, watching from the garage is, like, kind of boring.
Yeah,
I
it
had
is.
watched some of the race from the Maserati MSG garage on Saturday, and I
Mhm.
was just like, it's so quiet, dude, like, it's so quiet, you could hear a pin drop, and I was just like, "No one's speaking." Like, there weren't any headphones left for me, and I was just like even the cars going by, like, it was quiet. So I was like, this isn't really for me." So I wanted to just, like, watch with everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes sense. I mean, that's the thing that I mean, we always talk about it. It's so much more fun to be with
yeah.
people. Watching a race and even like when we went to Miami
Mhm.
and we were in the
Grandstands. Mhm.
cabanas, we were like, "This is fun," but, like, we kind of feel, like, isolated from, like, people that really, really, really care about
Right.
F1, and then we went out into the grandstands. We were
Yeah.
with people, we were like, "This is so much more fun because 'cause you're just, like, surrounded by people." It's always more fun to do something with people.
100%. And the racing, top tier, dude. Like, everyone was neck and neck the entire time. Like,
A dream.
what we felt today watching Formula 1, that was the full 27 laps at Formula E. Like, you would see people were switching. I was talking to one of the drivers when I was interviewing them on Thursday, and they're like, "Yeah, last year here, there were 500 overtakes in the race." 500 overtakes.
There's not even that many in a
Can you
year
even
in Formula 1.
comprehend that number? I was, like, astounded, and then when I saw it in action, I was like, "Oh, this is fucking sick." Like, high intensity the
Crazy.
entire time. So, I was like, "Wow,
Also,
this is real motorsport."
I feel like 27 laps is perfect. Like, that's a perfect amount of time to
Yeah,
be that's a perfect
really, it was, like,
race.
45 minutes.
It's okay, so it's funny because obviously you and I have been F1 fans for a long
Mhm,
time. And when we first started, I'm, like, super bought in for, like,
mhm,
every lap of every race. Like,
mhm.
it's like, it's new,
It's
it's
new,
exciting, it's
yeah, it's
novel.
novel.
You wanna, like, pay so much attention to it. Now I'm like I feel like we talk to so many people, they're like, "I watch the first 10 laps, I go on my phone for a while, I watch the last 10
Yeah,
laps." Like, that's what you do. I feel like it's like baseball at this point. I'm like, "It doesn't need to be this long.
right.
It doesn't need to be this long." We went to a baseball game the other week, and I was like, well, they've made it better because there's, like, a pitch
Mhm.
clock
Yep.
countdown.
Mhm.
Thank God, because, like, you would literally used to
Yeah. It was, like, 7 hours. You were
I'm
like,
like
"I wanna go
I
home."
was like, "Oh, we've been here for 4 hours, like, it must be almost over," and it's, like, the
The
top
3rd
of the
inning.
3rd inning, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna die right now." That's how I feel like F1 is getting to me, like, I love watching it. I love F1. I'm feeling like it's a little bit long.
Yeah. Well, especially
Sometimes
because most of the time it's not exciting.
exactly. 27 laps with good racing, that's the
Sprint
reason that
races.
exactly. That's the reason that I sometimes, like, am a real big fan of sprint races because it's shorter.
Mhm.
The racing is more intense because there's not as much, like, need to think about, like, tire strategy or pit strategy or anything like
Mhm.
that. You're just racing flat out, and it's
Yeah.
exciting. I appreciate the other races for the strategic elements, but sometimes you just want a little quick hit of
Yeah.
you just want a quick hit of racing, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Formula
And
E delivers on this.
mhm,
So, I can't
I
wait
like
for
that.
you and I to go to
I
another
know I wanna
race
go so bad.
because it was electric and, like, seeing all of our online friends, like, in person for the real first
Mhm.
time was, like, so
I
fun.
know I have so much FOMO about it.
Yeah, it was really fun. I loved chatting with the drivers. Everyone was, like, so incredibly nice, and really down to clown, which was great. So, I that was definitely our first experience with Effie, but I hope it's not the
I don't think it
last.
will be. Well, I haven't had my first experience, so
Yeah.
it can't be because I still need one.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Silverstone.
The British pre-cab. The
British
British Grand
Grand
Prix
Prix,
cab.
yeah, got stuck in my mouth for a little bit there. How fun.
Oh my god.
A really fun race. It felt like old times.
We're, as the kids say, so fucking back.
We're so fucking back. I think the part that got me the most was when the announcers were like, first of all, when Lando and Oscar both overtook Max,
Mhm.
and the announcers were like, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull does not have enough pace to hold him back.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Where are we?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, you know what's so funny? I spent some time trying to find this earlier, but I saw a TikTok like a handful of weeks ago where this girl was on my For You page talking about how she was looking at this chart of like the what's it called? The frequencies that are coming out of like Earth. Like obviously Earth emits a level of frequencies on a day-to-day
Mhm.
basis and there was like a shift and she was like, "Guys, we've shifted timelines." And I was like, "Okay, fun." She's like, "Now we're on hopefully a higher level." And so, like,
What's
maybe that
happening?
was true because since then, I feel like Max has really been
Well,
on a downturn, and
yeah.
we're so fucking back.
It's it's been so fun. Did he win last week,
No,
Max?
George did.
When was the last time Max won a race?
Who in
Recent.
Barcelona, he won in
Okay.
Barcelona.
That's fun that I don't know.
Yeah.
How fun is it
Yeah.
that I don't
I mean,
know
they
off
were
the top of my
saying
head when the last time Max won a race is?
so we had
Like, that is really fun. fun to
We've
me.
had 6 winners this season already, 6 different race winners, and last year we only had 3 across the whole season.
Like, I just feel like we deserve this,
Mhm.
and I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled to be here and to be a fan of F1 during this time
Mhm.
because I think it was very the last time this happened, Lewis was really dominant,
Mhm.
and then Max came in.
To challenge him.
And it was really just one person challenging him. There's no one else that was getting close to Lewis, like, nobody else, and I think now it's kind of exciting because there's a lot of teams
Yeah.
that are kind of coming back,
You
and
never really know whose weekend it's gonna be.
because before when it was Max and Lewis, it was literally Max was winning the race or Lewis was winning the race, like, that was kind of it with, like, maybe a Ferrari thrown in there
Or even
somewhere.
Bottas.
Right, or Bottas,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, it was not very it was really, like, you knew who the title
Right.
fighters were, and I feel like this year, like I mean, I still have no doubt that Max will win.
I don't know.
What are the standings now? We haven't done our standings in
We
so
fell
long.
off on our
We
standings.
fell off.
So, I
I
know
haven't
Red
even
Bull
checked.
is, like, 70 points ahead in constructor.
'Kay.
Let's see. So, Max has 255, Lando has 171. Charles has 150, Carlos has 146, and Oscar has 124. And Perez is in
Okay,
6th right
well,
now.
speaking of
Ferrari. Do we wanna talk about it?
no, but I have to because this is I'm a professional, and this is my job, and I'll talk about it. What are they doing to him? How dare they? How dare they treat him like this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't is it's tough. Where it
Like,
feels like
what's
last year
going
again.
on? Like, what is going on?
Things were up,
And now they're
and
down.
now they're so back
They're
down
so like, we're so fucking back in multiple ways. And
in
one
a
way is
derogatory way.
we're so fucking back with Ferrari derogatory. Like, what are they doing? Why are they treating him like this? Why can't my hair do anything that looks good today? I hate it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. So we're living our truth over here. And sometimes everyone has bad hair days. And for me, it's been all the time. I haven't got my hair cut in so long and I really need it cut because it just has not grown in.
I think it looks pretty long, all things considered.
Well, it just hasn't like it hasn't like grown in well,
Mm,
like it hasn't grown out
yeah.
well. So it looks so bad. I'm sorry that you guys have to see me like this. So ugly. Sorry, I'm so
We're back on our ugly bullshit.
I'm ugly and I'm proud. But yeah,
You know who else had a tough day? George.
kind of
George
nuts.
and Oscar really, I feel like, got the shit under the
Okay, and
stick today.
Pierre.
Oh my god,
We got to
Pierre.
talk about Pierre.
Pierre with his 50 place penalty grid, which cursed him into not even starting the race to begin with. They said 50 places actually means that you won't even race today.
Like, that was insane. No knowing that they put 50 that we were like, This has to be a typo."
Because we
It
were like,
wasn't.
okay, so does this cross over into other races? Like, are we
Right.
carrying over? The answer to that is no. They just said 50 places. So it was kind of nonsensical for them. Like, I don't
Surprise,
know.
surprise.
Yeah, fucking big surprise. FIA is doing something stupid. Um, yeah, it was silly. It was really silly of them
Yeah.
to be like 50 places, but guess what? You just are starting 20th on Sunday, and then that's it. Fuck off.
I thought maybe he would, like, start 20th for 2 races and then have a 10 place grid penalty.
Yeah. Like, that would make
That would
sense.
make sense, right? Like, that would be logical. That would be understandable.
Yeah, so I don't really know. Who fucking cares? And then yeah, George
Yeah,
DNF.
George DNF after starting pole
But you know
and
what?
having huge celebrations yesterday with, like, Carmen and his family and everything, and then it was sad because there wasn't even anything, like, there was nothing visible.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't like he crashed. It wasn't like you could see, like, smoke coming out of
it
his
was just
car. It
internal.
was just like, "George Pitt, retire the car." We're all like, "What?" That was
Well,
it.
it's so funny because a couple episodes ago, Lewis went on record saying, "Oh, George is getting all of the upgrades,
Yeah,
George is gonna be the one who
classic Lewis.
is gonna out-qualify me, and he's gonna outperform me a for the rest of the season," and then, we had someone, quote, unquote, maybe leak to the press that Mercedes was fucking with Lewis's car, and then we saw Lewis kind of start to perform. So, we don't really have any insight onto maybe who leaked the email, if there was any validity to any of the content in the email, or what's going on there. But I mean, correlation or causation, who's to say? But Lewis, congratulations.
Congratulations, you've done it.
Whatever happened there,
Whatever you did it right.
you did it right. So
Good for him.
we're having
That was the most disjointed pre-cap, I think.
well, that's because we don't have anything on the agenda.
Well, because it just happened. It just
We didn't
happened.
have time to think to gather our thoughts.
Do we ever?
Sometimes.
I just have to have words with Rory. I think I'm gonna have to go there.
Yeah. I think you should book a
I'll be
trip.
showing up.
Kate's gonna actually get a job with Ferrari and then work her way up so that she is Fred's personal PR comms person
Mhm.
and have words with him that way.
Yes. It's the long game.
It's a long game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way to really do it.
I mean, otherwise, I'm just gonna have to write a strongly worded letter.
Either or.
Either way, I will be doing
Move to
something. I
Maranello,
will
get a
be
new job, or write a strongly worded letter. Who's to say?
either way, we'll be taking action.
Yeah.
I will be putting pedal to the metal. putting my foot to the brimstone. Is that the saying?
I don't know if that's
Foot
it.
to the fire?
Yeah.
I don't know why I think about brimstone.
Pedal to the floor.
No,
I think it's metal to
Pedal
the
to the-
pedal. Pedal
pedal
to the metal.
metal. I already said that one. What a fun race. All we can do is pray that the rest of the season gives us as much as Silverstone gave us today.
I agree.
Not a single national anthem that I didn't want to hear. Oh wait, going back, Hannah Waddingham did the national anthem.
Yeah,
incredible.
iconic.
She's everything.
Mhm.
And then there was some weird propaganda music video.
I don't know who that was. I didn't particularly enjoy the song that she had written about Britain. I didn't like the vibes of the music video they created.
I just didn't really understand what the point was.
I hated it. I hated everything about it. So
Without mincing words, we hated it. Like, it was just very confusing and off-putting. I'll say it. It was off-putting.
so off.
I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Felt weird.
So sorry if you did like it.
You're wrong.
That's none of my business.
You're allowed to have your own opinion, but it's wrong. So, for that said.
All right,
let's get out of here. All right, now it's time for the 2 Girls O'Clock News.
The top of the hour.
Top of the hour.
One of the biggest things on the 2:00 news today is silly season.
Latest updates live. We're coming at you live with some silly season updates.
Silly season is being silly.
Silly. Every year we say this might be the silliest silly season, and every year we get
I really think
wrong.
I think this year is kind of
the
most absurd silly season.
Well, we're seeing just like there were so many rumors of like grand plans and like all these things that were potentially maybe kind of going to happen, and then they've just kind of fallen off, and like things that just keep changing. Like, oh, Carlos has his pick of teams; he can go anywhere he wants. And now all these seats are like
the doors are closing left
and I'm like,
right on him.
He still hasn't announced anything, and
then he gets mad when people ask him.
Yeah,
he's like, it's a distraction. Like, I'm worried about the triple header. Like, don't ask me about that.
And we're like, Carlos, we're asking because we care.
Yeah,
we're asking because we care.
We just want to know what you're up to. We're hopeful that you're going to be signed next year. God forbid.
God forbid.
So, I mean, the rumor still is that he's open to Williams. But we do still have the seat at Mercedes.
Yep.
And we do have a second seat at Haas. That just dive bombed my face. Okay, well, it died, dude. No, dead ass. Dead ass. I don't know what happened there, but it died. What the fuck was that? I don't know if it's gonna get back up again, but I'm putting that on there.
Literally, what? Guys,
this has been the most cursed recording of the podcast that has happened literally ever.
What's when it took us like 15 tries to even get started. And then a fly came out, and then there was this gigantic fly. That was a big
That
fly.
was the biggest fucking fly I've
It
ever
was like
seen.
ridiculously large. And it just dive bombed Nicole, landed on her boob, bounced off, hit the chair, fell on the floor, and
It's
died.
dead. It died. So I hope it had a good life
It
being a
legitimately
nuisance.
kamikazed you. Like, that was
And you know what? It got what
it
it deserved.
sacrificed itself
It got
for
it
something.
got what it
I
deserved.
hope it was worth it for him because, oh my god, that was unreal. I
Okay.
can't believe that just happened.
Going back.
I have never seen anything like that. I don't know how to get back from this. That was insane. Like, I saw it and it just flew directly at you. Like, it was on
It had beef for me. What did I do to it in another life?
like an actual dive bomb. Like, it went
Like,
right at you, bounced off the titty, and died. Like, what?
also went right for my heart too. That's my heart side. It was going straight to the heart. Guys, Kate is crying legitimate tears right now.
I've never in my life. I've watched a lot of Nat Geo. I've watched a lot of Planet Earth, and I have never seen a sacrificial fly like that. All right, back to silly season because why not?
So we have also seats open at Alpine,
Yes,
which
'cause Pierre resigned.
mhm,
That came out.
but Esteban's
Esteban's
out.
Audi.
Mhm.
Uh,
But there was a headline that said
tell me.
Ryan Reynolds sets sights on Mick Schumacher as Alpine owners consider driver change. So, you know what? We've talked about this before. Mick Schumacher has been in the
Yeah, he's been in
his
the
name has been thrown into the
yeah.
hat for a potential Alpine driver. I'll give it a P2. I feel like we haven't seen
Yeah.
enough substantial evidence of this, but I do think that Mick's a pretty good driver, and like we said, if he doesn't get in this season, I think he's done.
Yeah. So interesting that it's Ryan Reynolds has his sights set. I wanna know more about him and Rob McElhenney and their
Mhm.
investment in this team. Like, what's their role here? Like, how much say do they have? Is it a welcome to Wrexham where, like, they bought the team and they are, like, in all of the decisions?
The thing is I think this was the headline because I read the article and there wasn't any quote from Ryan himself, and I think they just pulled Ryan Reynolds' name because it's clickbait. But I was like, "Okay, Ryan Reynolds has an
I
interest in
don't
Mick
I
Schumacher? Say
mean
more."
if they're gonna make a welcome to Wrexham kinda show, welcome to Alpine, I feel like Mick would be a good name to have in there.
However,
Something like
Pierre has told the media that he really wants Carlos to be his teammate.
yes, I saw that. I saw they asked, and he was like, "I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love that." That would be interesting. I actually can't really picture them as teammates
Mm-mm.
at all.
No. I don't think they would have an not that this matters, but I don't think that they would have any chemistry.
No,
If
it feels
honestly, it feels like they would have less chemistry than Pierre and Esteban because at least Pierre and Esteban have a hatred for each other. And you
yeah,
know what they always say, like, "Oh,
there's
at
a very
least if
fine
you
line
hate
between
me,
love and hate.
if you hate me, you still have emotion for me, but like if you don't think about me at all, then that's like worse than being
Yeah.
hated." So I just feel
I
like
don't yeah, I don't know because, like, on one hand, they're both really good friends with Charles,
mhm.
so they have to have something in common to be, like
I feel like Carlos and Charles are friends because they're teammates. I feel
yeah.
like the line's getting iffy.
But here's also the thing is that sometimes Carlos talks and I'm like sometimes his accent just really comes out in full force. Same thing with Pierre. I'm like, "Are you guys even, like how are you gonna communicate?" Like, I just feel like they're gonna be very weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a weird matchup
Yeah.
if they're teammates.
It'll be interesting. I think they have the potential to be silly goofy together, but I think Carlos brings that out of everyone.
Everyone.
So,
Yeah.
but speaking of silly goofy guys,
So, like, if you guys say what?
so Williams.
Williams.
Williams has re-signed Alex, but I think everyone kind of is getting the feeling that Logan is not going to be re-signed for the next season.
Yeah, James even said that I think there was something that James said that they're gonna have to start thinking soon about
End of
end
season.
of season, but even
Even
he said before the end of season.
Mhm.
So there is a possibility that we see Logan leave
But
before the season's
Logan
over.
performed pretty well today.
He did, yeah,
I
he did pretty
think,
good.
all things considered, he performed pretty well, but the rumor is that Logan's going to Prima Racing in IndyCar
Yes, I've heard that.
for 2025, which makes sense, but this kind of brings up the fact something that we've talked about with Mick, with Logan, and now Haas is bringing up Ollie
Yep, Ollie
Behrman,
Bierman.
and I just fear for him. He's 19 years old. I think he's a good driver. He proved himself with the one race where he filled in for Carlos when he had appendicitis.
Mhm,
But, like, I think we've seen what happens when teams bring up drivers too early and don't support them in the right ways,
mhm.
and I just fear that Ollie's gonna be another statistic.
So here's the thing also, is that I think that it's the lower teams that keep bringing up
Mhm,
these rookies, and so they get put into these cars that are objectively not good
mhm,
cars anyways,
right,
and the only reason these other drivers are getting, like, performance out of them is because they've had experience in F1,
right,
so they at least know how to drive an F1 car,
mhm,
and they're like, "Okay, I can probably drive this shitbox car." But if you're a rookie and you're given this horrible car and then you're not doing well, it's like, okay, there's
what do
no
you
way for
expect
them to
out of
prove
them?
themselves,
Right,
and I think that it's kind of a new phenomenon we're seeing of, like, driver contracts getting canceled or
mhm,
drivers not getting re-signed after a little while, because then you think back to when George Russell was on Williams,
mhm,
and this is something that you and I were talking about in the car yesterday, where, like, for a long time, no one thought that George was gonna be
the one to
the one
watch.
to watch,
Yeah,
like, the next, like, great talent in
mhm,
F1 that was to be fighting for wins and, staying at Mercedes even after Lewis and all of this, but do we think that we only didn't see that because he was at Williams?
yeah,
But they kept him at Williams for so long, and we didn't think that he was that good because he was driving a shitty car,
mhm,
so he wasn't getting the performance out of it, like, he wasn't getting, like, everyone cried when he got his first points.
yeah,
Like, that's crazy. But, like, I feel like that's what these other rookies are being faced with is, like, but nobody's giving them the time to, like, develop and then get into a better car to show
mhm,
what they can actually do. They're, like, getting booted off of these
yeah,
shitty teams. Like, I feel like the rookies that we've seen booted after a season or 2 have been from Haas and now Williams.
mhm,
Like, it's the bottom 2 teams.
yeah. Yeah, it's tough. So
So,
I guess we'll see what happens with Ollie.
yeah,
I'm hoping that maybe that was a Gunther problem,
yeah,
and we may see a better outcome with Ollie,
yeah,
but also I think Haas is getting better performance out of the car. Nico is regularly scoring in the
yeah.
points. I think
Yeah. Haas does seem to be kind of on an upward
an
trajectory, which
upward
is good.
trajectory,
But we
but
also
again,
have
Nico and Mac are really seasoned veterans when it comes to the F1 cars.
mhm.
So I don't
And
know.
we also have new regulations coming soon.
Yeah.
So, see how that factors into all of this.
But allegedly Williams is also talking to Danny and Esteban. So
Do we think that Danny would now consider a Williams seat? He has said before that he wouldn't wanna, like, stoop to, like, a lower team, but do we think that he has a choice anymore?
I don't know. I don't think he has a choice, but allegedly, Helmut Marko said that Danny still has time to prove himself for the Red Bull seat
For the Red Bull
for the Red
seat?
Bull seat, even
No
though
way.
they've
No
re-signed
way.
Checo. This is a quote. You can look it up. You can Google it. I'm
No
not.
way.
This is not the rumor mill, which is crazy. We've talked about it again, time and time again. We can't believe they re-signed Checo.
No.
Which I mean, I can
I
believe
don't
it.
think they can believe
Sponsorship
that
money.
I don't think they can believe that they re-signed Checo, to be
No, you should have
honest.
seen. You should have seen Christian at qualifying yesterday, when Checo spun out and he was out, Christian was just, like, shaking his head, like, mumbling to himself, and then in the post-qualifying interview, they were like, "What's kind of up with Checo?" And he was like, yep, he's pretty disappointing, but, like, you know, there are clauses in the contract that, can be
Yeah,
triggered
his
at any time."
so I saw something about the clauses that are he can't finish more than 100 points behind Max in the championship, and he is currently more than 100 points behind him, so he has to
Yep.
be better, and he can't finish below 5th in the
Well,
standings.
he's 6th right now,
He's si
and
so they're basically like, "You need to get up in points, and you need to
which
be."
historically, the last 2 drivers to be in 6th place when Max was in above them got cut from the team, Pierre and Alex were both in 6th position when Red Bull fired them midseason.
Yeah. And well, here's the fun fact is that those were the 2, like, rookies that got brought up
Mhm,
to be put on, like, a higher team,
mhm,
and while they didn't perform at the level that Red Bull wanted, they still did pretty good, and
mhm,
they stayed in F1. They both
mhm,
got drives after that. So, I'm, like, so curious if Logan or Mick had gotten, like, brought in at a different team,
mhm.
even like an AlphaTauri, do we think that they would
I
still
mean,
be in the sport now?
Pierre and Alex were both at
Well,
Pierre was at
yeah,
Toro Rosso,
true.
and then Alex got put down at AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I don't feel good about the rookies, and
I never feel good
I
about
don't
the
feel
rookies,
good
and
about Checo,
it's not their
to be
fault.
honest.
I don't feel good about Checo, but that's his own fault. Like, he's been in the sport for so long, like,
And
you should be better by now,
for the Mercedes
truly.
seat, Toto recently came out and said that Alonso was not interested in driving for Mercedes, and he wanted to stay with
Interesting.
Aston, which is interesting because there's also rumors that Adrian Newey's contract potentially is coming
With
to a close with Aston Martin. So that
yeah,
would make sense.
yeah.
It's all the puzzle pieces, like all of the threads that we kind
Yeah.
of been hearing about are kind of starting to
It's
get tied
the it's
together.
like a Sarah J. Maas book. We are coming up to, like, the 70%
Mhm.
mark where, like, things are gonna be coming together,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be learning things and finding things out, and
Yeah.
everything's gonna make sense.
Everything's gonna make sense in the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of Checo, he does have a Disney Plus documentary coming out soon. And so it's gonna be called Checo Perez Don't Give Up. And according to Soy Motor, it will be available for fans to stream on Disney Plus from July 31st. Disney
Like,
has
everyone? So, like, we can
mhm. Disney has dubbed their project as a docuseries about the greatest Mexican driver of all time, which is funny because everyone was in our DMs, like, with the title, they were like, it literally translates to "Don't give up, motherfucker." They were like, that literally translates, "Don't give up, motherfucker." It's kind of going on here, but it doesn't feel very Disney family friendly. Um,
so intriguing,
so intriguing and, like,
so intriguing. I mean, I can't wait to watch it,
yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, for me, people are always like, "Oh, why do you hate Checo?" And I'm like, "I don't really hate him, I just don't think about him."
and that's what
Going
we just
back
said.
going back,
Worse
the
worse
worst
than hate,
thing.
yeah. I don't really think about him either, but my thoughts when I do think about him, I just don't really understand what he's still doing here, and
Mhm.
I hate to say this, and I'm so sorry. He and Danny are becoming pretty synonymous to me of both just like, "I don't really know why you're still here because neither of you are doing anything
Hey, you
special."
don't have to say sorry. Again,
I do
I
though.
can admit that I don't think Danny's at the top of his game. Does that mean that
Yeah,
I love him really any less? No.
right.
But, like, I think he is gonna be better off doing other things.
Yeah, it's just like Checo
Like
isn't
dropping a
bad.
new Enchante shirt that we saw him wearing this week. Another one.
DJ Khaled, another one. Like, he can't be stopped.
Slow down.
He can't be stopped. Like, I just think that Checo isn't bad.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he's Red Bull material anymore, and I think that, like, but I'm also like, you've been in this sport for so long.
He didn't even finish in the points today.
No. You've been in the sport for so long, like, you should be better at this point, and if you're not, then you should be gone.
Gone.
Wanna know what F1 needs to do?
Tell
Hot
me.
take. F1 needs to be more like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Okay, I didn't watch the documentary, so tell me more.
So, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, you're never guaranteed a spot, even no matter how many years you've been cheering with them.
Okay.
So, every single year, they have auditions, and everyone has to audition. Whether you've been cheering you were on the squad last year, for the past 2 years, for the past 4 years, you're
Doesn't
still
matter.
auditioning.
Mhm. To make sure you still got it.
Exactly. And sometimes the rookies are better.
Mhm.
And so they want everyone and so they go in and everyone has to, like, submit videos. They have or, like, the veterans have to say, like, "Yes, I'm trying out again." And if you're a rookie, you send in, like, videos. And so they, like, go comb through all these videos of people and then choose people to come to training camp. And then you're in training camp, and there are 36 spots on the squad, and there's probably, like, 50 or 60 people that get brought to training camp.
Mhm.
And so you go through and you have these days of, dance classes, and you're learning and you're performing, and you have judges that are kind of always there and keeping track, and they'll be like, "Okay, I don't think this person is picking it up as quickly," or, like, they seem to be getting really, like, frazzled with the competition and with, like, stress, and, like, I just don't think they're gonna be able to cut it,
Yeah.
and so eventually it goes down, but, like, I mean, in the documentary, you saw, like, a bunch of veterans get cut from
Mhm.
training camp, and a bunch of rookies came in, and I'm kind of like I kinda feel like that ensures that the best of the best are always there. The people that fully deserve it, the best people are there, and I kinda feel like F1 should do something similar. Like, just because people have been there for so long, this should be the pinnacle of motorsport. The best of the best should be driving,
Mhm.
and so
It's tough though
I know.
too because of the sponsorship money, like, there's
And the cars are different, so
it's
it's not like
layered.
yeah, it's layered. It's not like they're all driving the same
Yeah.
car, so you can
Yeah.
but I'm just like, there's just some people like, also, like, K-Mag and Nico.
Mhm.
K-Mag has been doing pretty well, like, and I'll say it.
You mean Nico?
He and Nico, both of
Oh,
them,
okay.
have been doing pretty well lately. But I'm like, "You guys have been in the sport for so long," and, like, Nico's never been on the podium.
And yet
Like
he has a seat for but I guess Audi
yeah.
wanted a German driver and Nico's a safe bet, so it's
But
like,
it's just, like, at this point, I feel like if you have been in the sport for more than, like, 5 years and you've never been on the podium,
why are you here?
it's time to switch things up.
Yeah,
Like, let's switch it up. I don't know. This might be a controversial opinion that I'm saying right now, but I
I
just
hear
kinda
it.
feel like
I hear it and I respect it.
unlike Alonso, I think that he is one of the greats, obviously, and, like, the other year, he had a great season where he was,
Mhm.
like, consistently getting podiums and, like, fighting for wins and everything. That's great. He's not anymore. So, I feel like there should be, like, some sort of time limit. There needs to be term limits.
Term limits in
Term
F1.
limits for F1 because I just think we gotta keep it competitive, and just because people have been there for a long time doesn't mean that they should be able to stay,
I agree.
you know?
Co-signed. And that
And
concludes
that's all I have to say about that.
and that's all we have for the 2 o'clock news, but I really wanna get into our social stars of the week.
We
And I don't even know
gotta
if this is really social stars. I wasn't really
It
sure
was
where
on social
it
media.
was on social media. I wasn't really
It
sure where to
probably
put
could've gone 2
this.
o'clock news.
Probably.
Probably,
I
but
felt
it's
maybe
okay.
2 o'clock news was getting too stuffy. We're putting too many things in there. So time for social
Got it,
stars.
yes.
Let's talk about F1 and not the sport,
And not the sport,
the
the
movie.
movie. First of all, let's have some creativity. Is it really just called F1 in the F1 logo? Be r so for
Like,
real.
please tell me you're teasing me right now. Like, please tell me you're like, psych, this is the holder. This is the holder title.
Yeah, like, I mean, it does we do have, like, a year until it comes out or over a
Yeah,
year or something. So it could change, but I'm like,
please. But you know
I
what?
just feel like if it's called F1, it should be about, like, all-encompassing F1. It should not be about, like, one character,
Yeah,
one made-up
yeah,
character Brad Pitt's
yeah.
playing. It just
I
doesn't
have mixed reviews about the
yeah.
title, but I will say with the little teaser they showed, I am gonna eat that movie up. I'm gonna eat
Mhm,
it up. But it is
mhm.
kind of unsettling to be watching a high quality trailer and to see Brad Pitt standing next to Max
And to see
Verstappen.
Gunther Steinerby
Like,
pop out from the
it's
pit wall.
it's truly like it feels not like Uncanny Valley, but it's like it feels weird because it's fictional and non-fictional at the
Yeah,
same time, which I think brings me out of it a
yeah.
little bit, because I'm like, you are using real people,
In
but
a
in a
fake
fake
universe.
universe, and so it's like it's a weird kind of my brain doesn't know how to comprehend it.
It's very much like Entourage, and I
Mm.
know I always bring Entourage up.
Someone keep a running tally of how many times Kate has mentioned Entourage on this podcast.
But that's it because it's about, like, a fictional actor
Mhm.
and his friends, and they're actually, like they're obviously real Hollywood actors
Mhm.
playing these parts, but every other person in this show pretty much
He's a
is
real
a real
person.
person. So, like, they're friends with Jessica Alba
Yeah.
because, like, the first season, he's in a movie with Jessica
Mhm.
Alba, and then he dates Mandy Moore,
Mhm.
and then it's, like, all these
That
people,
they're playing themselves.
they're
Yeah.
playing themselves, but they're playing kind of fictionalized versions of themselves. So it's so interesting, and I feel like that's how this movie is gonna be. It's just, like it's gonna be a weird experience. Who do you think from the grid is gonna have, like, speaking roles? Like, who do you think is gonna be, have a part?
I think
Lewis
Lewis,
for sure,
for sure.
obviously.
He's EP on it, right? or he's at least producing some sort of bit. So I think Lewis is probably gonna have speaking parts.
I feel like Max probably, if we saw Brad Pitt's character next to Max, is like there might be a little.
I don't know. Max hates the spotlight
You're
though.
right.
I just don't feel like
And Lewis
he.
wouldn't willingly give
Yeah,
Max
I
a
feel like
part.
maybe like um
I mean,
George or
Charles is so beautiful.
Lando.
Like Charles
Yeah.
has a face for a camera,
Yeah,
so I hope so.
I'll be so curious to see how many people like have
But also, Charles
interactive
is such a
roles.
bad actor.
Yeah. I also don't really know what the movie's about. The teaser that they gave
Did not.
did not really
Yeah,
do anything. It just gave us a couple of shots of them racing.
yeah,
He was there today,
yep,
filming again, doing some press pit stuff. I think they're doing a handful of reshots at this point.
yeah.
So, I guess we'll see.
I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I
I'm not
mean,
writing it off. People are being
no.
haters right now,
I
but,
mean,
like,
everyone loves to be a hater,
love to be a hater.
and we get that. We love to
We're
be a hater too, but I like to be a hater when I have, like, full reason to be a
Mhm.
hater, and I don't yet
Yeah,
on this. So, I will be holding my hatred
yeah.
until I decide that it's warranted, but as of right now, I'm pretty excited, and I feel like this is gonna be
Also,
something fun for
we're
us,
manifesting interviewing Brad Pitt on this podcast, so, like, we
obviously.
can't be too much of haters.
No,
I'm so
obviously.
sorry, like, we will be he's gonna come to the studio. He's gonna come to this studio,
My
and he's gonna
house.
be sitting right here.
He's gonna be sitting in my basement, sweating his ass off in our studio with our mismatched fucking tiles.
And that's
Janky.
showbiz,
That's show
baby.
business. Brad Pitt has to fly to Providence, Rhode Island to come sit in my basement.
I'm screaming, I'd be dead.
I would
You're like, "Mr.
absolutely
Pitt, please, here's
Mr.
your seat."
I, like, don't actually know. I'm imagining that happening, like, I'm picturing Brad Pitt sitting in this basin right now and, like
The fly is gonna dive bomb him.
I
Okay, do you think Lewis is gonna be on the press tour for this as well?
hope
I
so.
hope so.
I hope so. Well, because I really do, I hope that he's surprising us with, like, a major
Mhm.
role.
Oh, that would be so slay.
I was like, he can come to my basement too.
Lewis and Brad.
An open invite to my basement.
Alright, do you have any more thoughts on the F1 movie?
I don't have any more thoughts. I don't have any more thoughts until they give me more to have thoughts about.
I agree. We'll keep our eyes peeled on
Eyes and ears will be out.
the content that's coming out, but
Yeah. I am intrigued. I'll say it. That's all I have to say is that I'm intrigued and I am awaiting more information.
time for some fast fashion?
Fast fashion.
Zoom,
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 zoom, fast
zoom.
fashion.
It was kind of funny because McLaren's Formula E team is called, like, Neom,
Mhm.
Neom, and
Ew.
Hannah and I from Track Talk were like, "How do you say that?" And I was like, "It's like neom, like cars." And I was like, "Neom, neom." And she's like, "Is it really?" And I was like, "No, I just made that up." She's like, "That would be so sick though."
I mean, did you actually ask them?
No, I didn't ask.
So it could be.
It could be
You have no idea.
McLaren. Neom.
I mean, I think that would be iconic.
That's how it should
That's how
be,
it should be. If it's not, it should be.
in my humble opinion.
100%. So, fast fashion, let's get into it because I think that Alex Albon is finally giving the people what they actually want.
Mhm.
And he is introducing the Albon Pets collection.
Mhm.
And it's really, really cute.
It's adorable.
It's like
Well, it
in
feels very reminiscent of so Lily loves her jelly cats,
yes.
which are the little, like, stuffed
Yes.
animals, and so I feel like Alex modeled his pets after, like, their own little version of jelly cats for Lily, which I'm, like, obsessed with.
That's so cute. Yeah. They, like, remind me of Hello Kitty.
Mhm.
It's really cute. But we did hear one good piece of feedback, from our friend Abby, who said that Alex had a big miss not
Mhm.
including
Any pet products for his
like,
pet
come on.
collection.
Even the 2 girls are putting pet products out.
It's not that
We
hard.
love to do pet products. So, if you're interested in the Alex Albon Pets collection, but you also want your pets to have merch, you can just buy yourself
You can
pet
get
collection merch and buy your pets TGNF merch.
match with them, and we
Yeah,
know
it's
that's
really cute.
every pet parent's dream,
It's
to
so
have
cute.
matching outfits with their pet.
Yeah, like, you want your pet to look like you, you
Yeah.
know?
If I had a pet, I would be matching with them.
100%.
Unfortunately, I don't have one.
I'm the same.
So,
Soon. manifesting for myself soon.
Another huge slay this week was
Yeah.
Lando Norris Media Day.
Yeah, like, are you working with stylist, Lando? Who dressed you? Who are you wearing?
Now, sometimes I think of Lando as, like, a little baby, and then sometimes I see him and I'm like, "You are very hot." And on Thursday, I had the latter thought where I was like,
Mhm,
"That man is handsome." He rolled up in his tank top with an open shirt and a chain and some jeans and
mhm,
some well-crafted facial hair, and I was like,
mhm.
"Lando motherfucking Norris, thank you for your
Yeah, it
service."
was really good.
It was
I was really
so good.
impressed.
I was like, I had to take a minute.
I take
Meanwhile, Lewis showed up looking like Mary Poppins,
get a ludicrously capacious bag.
ludicrously capacious.
Like, what are you putting in there?
Like,
What's in there?
what's in your bag? Like, give us at least give a YouTube video, "What's in
What's
my
in my
bag?"
bag? It
Okay?
was for show. I guarantee inside that bag was just, like, the cardboard, like, stuffing.
He had his cell phone, that was it.
Like,
You didn't need that bag. Also, like, you have someone carry your bags, please.
it was I mean, it was for the fit. It was
It
it
was
was
for the
for the
fit.
Dior fit.
I was just laughing so hard. I was like, "This is what we're doing today?
It was
Okay."
so funny.
I mean, the Mary Poppins seemed fit with the British Grand Prix,
It did,
so
yeah, so
maybe
maybe
he
he
was
was just
cosplaying.
he
He was
was
paying
method
homage.
acting.
Yeah,
He's method acting.
paying homage, and you know what? Good for him. The maybe that's his good luck charm. Maybe he needs
It
to
worked.
maybe he needs to have, big bags for the rest of the season.
Like, what was in the bag? Maybe the trophy.
The
Like, maybe he, like,
trophy.
kinda took it earlier
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'm just gonna steal
I might
this."
as well take it
Yeah,
because
because I
it's
know
gonna
what I'm
be
gonna
mine.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
must
good
be it.
theory.
Must be it.
That's a good theory.
What did you say yesterday?
And you were like, "Hold that thought."
Yeah.
I can't
Like,
remember. You were like, "Save your thoughts."
save your thoughts, we have to have this conversation tomorrow, and I have not a clue what it was.
Me either.
I'm gonna look at our stories because we might have posted something about something that's gonna
Mm,
jog this whole brain of mine. I had nothing.
okay. Not important then, clearly. The thoughts we're not thoughting. The only thing I have to really chat about for the girls' room,
Okay,
do you have anything that you wanna
not
bring up?
totally, other than the rumor mill.
Okay, we'll save that.
Okay.
Mine is about Ollie Bierman's girlfriend,
Oh,
so we're starting early on her. I don't know her name. All I know is that she's, like, 25 and he's 19, and they've been dating for a while, and I just don't love that.
we're gonna need new Kelly.
Yeah,
They're gonna be besties.
yeah. I just am like, "Okay, little weird." Little weird for
Interesting,
me.
interesting.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of hate, but maybe they broke up. I saw some tea where she, like, posted on her story and she was like, "Fuck that," and then apparently she unfollowed him, but he still follows her. I don't know, there's drama.
Mm,
Hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more info for you guys, but, like, all I do know is that she is a little bit older than him, and, like, I generally wouldn't mind that age gap, like, in the 30s, in the late 20s,
mhm,
but it feels weird.
when they're a teenager.
He's literally freshly 19.
Like, it's weird. Here's the thing about age gap relationships. It's never the it's not horrible. Like, a below 10-year gap, I think
Mhm,
is not that bad,
mhm,
unless one of, like, the younger of the people is a teenager.
mhm, yeah.
That's when it's
It
weird.
feels weird. Like,
It's
what do
weird
you have in common with an 18-year-old boy as a mid-20-year-old woman? And,
literally.
like, boys mature later than women, so, like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and I think the thing with Kelly is that she's now like, 'cause they didn't start dating until he was older.
23?
Yeah, but he wasn't a teenager anymore, but she, like, walked it back and was like, "Oh, but we met when he was, like,
17.
17 and it was
And the
magic."
minute we met, I knew. Girl, embarrassing.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't ever think it's, like, the biggest deal in the world unless they're a teenager, and
Yeah,
then it's like, that's a weird. Like, that's weird.
it's weird.
It's weird. Like, I think if you're gonna date a teenager who's, like, 19, the oldest that I would say is, like, maybe 20, like, 2 years. 2 years,
Because
I think in general, a 2-year gap is, like, pretty normal.
yeah.
So, like, if you're gonna date someone and you were, like they were 14 and you're 16, like, you're just, like, in school together, like, that's fine to
Fine.
me.
But
That's
the
fine.
minute you go off to college and they're still in high school, unless it's, like, 1 year, but, like, it's still weird to me because I'm like, you're in college and you're going to prom with that person. This is a hyper specific US-based scenario, but I'm always weirded out when I see people who are in college and they go to prom. The Summer I Turned Pretty, example number 1. I'm like, "That's weird." If I was what's his name, I also wouldn't wanna be there with Belly because, like, that's weird. But also to
I think
at least in
I
Europe, when you can start drinking when you're 18, like, here at 21, to be 21
yeah,
and be dating a teenager is weird,
yeah.
and that's also kind of a little bit of the bitching hour as well. I just am like, "I don't get it, it's not for me," but I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Girl, I have thoughts on you."
So, the thing I wanna talk about in here is the rumor mill about Carmen and George.
Mm.
Because I don't think we've talked about it really on the podcast, but, like, there has been so much swirling, wondering whether or not they are engaged.
James and I did talk about this on the last episode where we
Okay.
talked about the rumor
Yes.
because Mark Webber had just made the comment.
Yes. So we have the Mark Webber situation where he said called Carmen, like, the bride,
Mhm.
and tried to cover it up by saying that was a rowing term, but
Yeah.
it's, like, not even
No.
really, who knows? But we did see another photo of them hugging after George got pole position, and she does have what looks to be like a diamond ring on her ring finger. However, she is from Spain, and
Mhm.
allegedly in Spain, they use the opposite hand. And so there is kind of like, could it be cultural? Is there like a difference? Also, I feel like a lot of people nowadays are kind of like foregoing tradition and like wearing rings on that finger.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of kind of mounting evidence, or like there's just been a lot of things that have happened where it's like, okay, we're looking at this a little
I
closer.
think yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sold. I think the ring that we saw was not like a
Big enough.
Carmen level ring, to be
Yeah.
honest. So I
Like,
was
sorry,
like,
that's gonna be a big ring, and
yeah.
it's gonna be like ornate and probably like a little bit like vintage and
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I don't doubt that they'll be engaged at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to James, I was like, "I see it, but also I'm like, you guys are babies, like, child bride."
Yeah. They've been
Um,
together for 5 years.
I
That's
know.
kinda crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that
Um,
long.
but, like, it doesn't feel out of the question.
Yeah.
So,
An increasing amount of
speculation.
speculation.
Mhm.
But when did
But
we do
is
this the last? The last time there was, like, a lot of speculation about people was with Carlos and Issa,
Mhm.
and
And
they broke up.
Elena too,
And
and,
Elena and
Esteban.
Esteban, and they broke up. So,
Oh, no.
oh no. Is this the kiss of death for them, actually?
No.
Rewind.
Say it ain't
Edit it
so.
out.
Alright.
Bitching hour, let's do it. We
Bitching
gotta get
hour.
into it.
Bitching hour is reserved for
It
the one, the
is
only Danica fucking
Patrick.
Patrick.
What is her deal,
We
dude?
haven't had time to really complain about her lately. And if you don't know, she was brought in by Sky for the Austrian Grand Prix, and everyone fucking hated that. And then she released a 90-minute, count it, 90 minutes, an hour and a half video on how to spot lizard people. Now, like I said in my TikTok, I love a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
I love to hear them. I love to contemplate them, but I don't believe in any of them. But to hear Danica Patrick do 90 minutes on lizard people and then get a fucking platform after that really just grinds my gears. And if you are not watching on the YouTube video, I have my eyes closed in contemplation because I'm so angry about it. This is why we mean this is why Kate and I don't really respect the thought process of women at any cost. The thought of, like, progressing feminism at any cost, because this is a
Yeah.
case where they hired Danica because she is a woman in motorsport and simply that. They said, "Oh, she mildly built a name for herself," like, Great, let's keep her on. She never says anything insightful. Everyone hates working with her. She says constantly the dumbest fucking shit on the planet, and everyone hates her. Just fire her. But they keep her on to say, checkbox, we hired a woman.
It's kind of crazy that that's the conspiracy hill she's gonna die on. Like, that's the one you're gonna go with? Like, you're not gonna do one that, like, is, like, slightly like, you don't wanna go aliens. I feel like, well, aliens are more commonly,
Well, it's
thought of
also
as
like
real.
they
Like,
like to be like, oh, rich people, like celebrities are lizard people. Like they're part of this underground, um, initiative, like community. Girl, you are a celebrity. Like, what makes you different than them?
yeah.
Shut up.
She's like, "Well, I'm not a
You
lizard
actually
person."
so guess what? Let's start the conspiracy that Danica Patrick is a lizard person as well, okay? I said Kaylee sent also a thing about, the singer MIA, singer-rapper MIA creating a clothing line of tinfoil to stop people from being infected by 5G, and I said, "Actually, maybe they are lizard people and they're making themselves look so fucking stupid that they're throwing us off their trail because I can't deal with it."
Danica, you couldn't have picked something, like, a little bit more palatable. Like, go flat Earth, or, like, let's go moon landing. Go for the classic, like 9/11 inside job. Let's go Princess Diana killed by the royals. Let's go JonBenet. Let's go some, like, conspiracies that people are, like, already really kind of like, "Okay, I could maybe get into this." The lizard people, be real.
You're just on the right sides of the internet. I mean, I'm more chronically online than you are, but this is a deep conspiracy.
I know it is a deep conspiracy, but I'm saying
And it's
for
deeply rooted in anti-Semitism. I'm like, it's just frustrating to know that there are so many capable, smart,
mhm.
kind women out there. And it doesn't even have to be a woman. Like there are non-binary people, there are people of color, like there are underrepresented individuals who could greatly take over Danica's position and,
And also, I do feel like I have to do a disclaimer that I do not believe in any of the conspiracies that I just said that would be, like, more palatable. Like, I do believe that the Earth is round. I do believe that we landed on the moon. I do believe that 9/11 was a real thing. Like, honestly, I do believe that Princess Diana was killed by the royals, though. So, like, that one, I'm
that
bought in.
one we're still in on.
I there but I feel like I have to say that.
Disclaimer, disclaimer.
Disclaimer, those are not things that I am, like, super bought in on. I'm just saying that those are more common knowledge to the
Yeah,
masses, and so, like, if you want to, like, just pick something that, like, Joe Schmo can get behind.
yeah.
Like, let's go, like, I don't know.
Just like and then Box to Box brought her on again for this new season to be a commentator for Drive to Survive. Like, we're losing the
Don't.
plot. We're losing the plot. No one wants her. Like, you're actively making me mad. I feel like Jensen Button at this point. Like, I'm waiting for another bug. I'm Jensen Button. I'm waiting for him to just grab her mic and break it over his leg and walk away. Like,
Yeah.
I'm done. He needs to just be like, I'm done. I can't work under these conditions. And that's all I have to say about bitching hour. So if you like Danica Patrick, leave me alone.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a great bitching hour. I feel like that was a really perfect thing
And
to bitch about today. So,
that's it. That's
that's
all
it.
she
We're
wrote.
ending on lizard people.
We started. Well,
And let's make this a little more fun. Send us your favorite conspiracy theory.
yeah. We'll put out a box today and on the story, and you guys can drop your favorite
Yeah,
conspiracy
or, like,
theory.
go on YouTube and, like, link us to your favorite conspiracy theory YouTube
Yeah, I
videos
would
that we
love
can watch
that.
something more fun than Danica Patrick talking about lizard people for 90 minutes.
And don't
Like,
watch it because don't give her the media
don't
plays.
even
Don't
click
do
on
it.
it
Don't even Google it. Don't Google her name.
as we just gave her.
Yeah, but that's why that's what media is for.
You're right.
We have to do the hard work so that we can
Yeah,
relay that information to other people so
you're
that
right.
they don't have to do the hard work
Yeah,
and give the clicks
yeah,
to those people. So,
yeah.
just another day being a journalist, it's really tough work out here.
Anyways, this has been a weird one. People are gonna say, "Wow, those girls really decided to send it today for no reason." But we'll see you guys later, and until next time, I guess.
We'll see you on the internet. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
If you like what you heard, don't miss out on the fun between episodes.
Keep up with the chaos on Instagram at 2 Girls, 1 Formula. That's spelled out TWO Girls, numerical 1 Formula.
And check out our website, 2girls1formula.com, to shop cute fan-made F1 merch.
See you next week.
But like we said, in the meantime, we'll see you on the internet.